Alright guys, so here are the supplies: Ultramarine Blue, Alizarin Crimson, Cerulean Blue, Cad Yellow, Ivory Black, Chrome Green, Titanium White, number 8 flat bristle brush, a detail brush, a fan brush, palette knife, and Liquin. So what I'm doing here is I've mixed Ultramarine Blue, Alizarin Crimson, and Titanium White to actually block away the background, and I'm starting to change the color, and the material that I'm painting on is just watercolor paper that I've actually gessoed and prepped to be able to use oil on it. So if you notice, I am just randomly applying this color. And just a quick note, I do have an inspiration painting that I'm working on that one of my friends actually sent me. I am not sure which artist this is from, so it might be from Pinterest or some other social media source, so I cannot say, but I am just putting that out there. Now if you notice the background, I've actually started to add different shades of blue. That's because I am going to be working from large to small on this, and by me applying the blue, I'm actually getting the placement of the vase ready. So that is what I am doing. Very random, using a lot of paint with my Liquin so that it dries fast, and I'll be able to do a lot of wet on to wet on this paper. So again, by me just adding different shades of color, controlling the lights and darks, the value, I can go ahead and afterwards start painting the vase and the flowers. Now this here, what I'm doing is going to be the platform, and back there on the left corner of what I'm doing is just creating a lighter area to be able to focus more on perspective. So what I've done is I've just added titanium white with my ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson that I had earlier, just to make that shade a little bit lighter. Okay, so with my fan brush, I can just go over it and just get rid of some of the brush strokes that I don't care for. And this is just to soften and smooth out the background. So you can go ahead and do that. Now, it seems that my brush is not that great. You should use a softer bristle brush than what I am. Mine seems not to be really soft, but it is doing the job. So continuing with the foreground, as you could see, I'm just softening, cross hatching, and now I've started with Ivory Black. I am actually putting the dark tones inside the vase. Okay, so if you notice, I'm just blocking and very directly, I'm more or less sketching with my brush. Okay, so creating some placements. This is going to be the leaf, actually. That's where the leaf is going to go. And now that I've done that, I'm using Ultramarine Blue Pure with just a little bit of titanium white, but it's just straightforward, isn't it? So every time that I put a brush stroke, it should make sense. And as you notice, every brush stroke has a different shade of color and value, so that is helping me to create a three-dimensional vase. Okay. So you do want to hold on to your drawing. That's very important. And I am noticing actually that my vase is a little tilted, but I can always come back and fix that later. It's not really that big of a deal, but just keep an eye on those kind of details when you're painting. Okay, so now this is cerulean blue that I have with titanium white. I'm just adding this in just to be able to create more of a three-dimensional look. Okay, so now I am actually starting with the greenery. I'm applying it very loosely, as you can see, and just focusing on my lights and my darks. Okay, so there it is. That's the chrome green with a little bit of blue, and just preparing the placements of where the flowers are going to go. So now, as you realize, I said earlier, I mentioned that I was going to come back and correct the vase, so that's what I was doing, and continuously applying different brush strokes just to make the vase look three-dimensional. And now that is a little highlight there, caught from the light source, and then using Cad Yellow right there, as you can see, just to create a highlight. So continuously, the idea is to continuously go back and forth by applying color, focusing on your darks and lights, and always correcting your drawing. So here's the shadow right there. That's where I've started to put the shadow. I'm using Ultramarine Blue. I don't need to use a lot of paint, just a little bit, as you can see. And that's it, keeping the edges really soft, trying to blend in with the brush. Okay, now sometimes using my finger. Actually, that's one of the best tools ever. If you are not scared of paint, just go ahead and use your finger. That would be the best tool ever. And now I am removing some of that paint that I have on the left side of the vase. But again, the idea is to continuously adjust and correct your drawing. So, emphasizing on my platform, I have Cad Yellow with a hint. Actually, I have titanium white with a little bit of yellow. That's what I'm using for the platform, as you can see. Just blocking in. Because I'm finalizing it now, I can actually start using a lot more paint, and with the Liquin that I have mixed with it, it'll dry really quickly, so that's not a problem. And now with the flowers, so I started to just make some marks there just to help me visualize the size of the flowers. So again, blend if necessary. Okay, so just wanted to make that point. Going back with the brush, just indicating where things are, and eventually I will start using my palette knife too, which is really going to help me bring this together. Okay, so again, blending with the finger. So my palette knife, just start indicating where the flower is going to be. So it is a white flower, and the idea with flowers, you know, it has a lot of petals, but your job with this type of a painting is to simplify. Okay, so you want to really simplify your petals and just block it in as you see, visualizing a lot of planes. That actually helps you. Okay. So if you wanted to soften certain areas, you can bring your brush again and just quickly do that. Create some highlights. Always go back and forth by using brush, palette knife. There's a lot that you're doing as an artist. You know, you're focusing on your color, your value, your brush strokes, just different techniques, all working together to making a beautiful painting. Again, this painting is not an original. It was sent to me. The actual painting, I should say, was sent to me by one of my friends, and he was challenging me to do something like this. So here it is. I am doing it. I don't have any reference of who the original artist is, so I do apologize. Okay, so putting some highlights in the vase. There. Just going back and forth using the number 8 brush. You know, it's really fun once you get into it and see the painting develop before your eyes. It's a really good feeling, and painting loosely actually is, even though it might be challenging, but it's really fun. So putting this dark tone in that area will help me to just focus on the greenery. It'll help that area to stand out more. Now this area here is a little cherry that was actually very cleverly painted in by the artist that I'm actually looking at. So I think we're gonna put like a little shadow there. I think that's what I should do. Just to, there it is, just to bring some attention to that part. Okay. And like a little highlight there. Sometimes you can use the knife to soften. Okay, I'm using my detail brush just to start correcting the shape, to adjust the shape, and just boldly go back and see, correct. So this is a number 2, actually this is a detail brush that I am using, and now with the flat side of my brush I can just, you know, shuffle the paint around and use my finger to soften. So right there. Larger brush, number 8, I'm just emphasizing on the dark tones. Sometimes you can cross hatch and just eliminate the angle of your brush stroke. That's very important. Put a little warmer shade of blue there at the bottom. So now I'm actually detailing it a little bit, aren't I? Just working in the brush strokes, the little highlight there. Some highlights on top. Well guys, that's it with this painting. And thank you so much for watching. Again, don't forget to subscribe and like. Bye.